October 25th, a date that has witnessed America charging into conflicts based on flawed intelligence, making catastrophic alliances, and a military cover-up that shocked the nation. It's a day marked by decisions made in haste, in secrecy, or in blind trust. What connects these events? A fundamental failure to see the truth. Today, we're exposing the greatest mistakes made on October 25th that led to unnecessary wars, empowered dictators, and betrayed American values. In the heat of the moment, with limited information and immense pressure, leaders make calls that shape history. But what happens when those calls are based on a lie, a misguided fear, or a cynical calculation? On this October 25th, we're examining 3 such decisions. An invasion launched on a false premise, a foreign policy move that created a monster, and a domestic scandal that revealed a culture of impunity. These are stories of how America's best intentions, or worst instincts, led to its greatest mistakes. Mistake number 1. The invasion of Grenada, a rescue mission built on exaggeration, 1983. Our first story takes us to the height of the Cold War, to a tiny Caribbean island that suddenly became the center of a major U.S. military intervention. The context: in 1983, a Marxist military council seized power in Grenada. The Reagan administration was deeply concerned about Soviet/Cuban influence, citing the construction of a large airport runway as a potential military threat. The October 25th invasion. On October 25, 1983, President Reagan launched Operation Urgent Fury, a full-scale invasion of Grenada. The mistake, the primary public justification, the threat to nearly 1,000 American medical students on the island, was heavily exaggerated. The students were not in imminent danger. The Soviet military base was, in fact, a tourist airport being built with international aid. The invasion was launched on flawed and manipulated intelligence to achieve a political win after the recent Beirut bombing. The consequence: the operation was a tactical mess, with poor inter-service coordination leading to 19 U.S. military deaths and 116 wounded. It was condemned by the international community, including a UN General Assembly vote of 108-9. It set a dangerous precedent for preemptive military action based on dubious claims, a template that would be used again in the future. The lesson: using military force based on exaggerated or fabricated threats, even for a good cause, erodes global trust and can lead to unforeseen casualties and long-term geopolitical fallout. Mistake number 2. The bridge to the 21st century that collapsed PNTR with China, 2000. From a hot war in the 80s to an economic decision in the year 2000 that many argue created the strategic rival America faces today. The context: the debate over granting China permanent normal trade relations, PNTR, which would pave the way for its entry into the World Trade Organization, WTO. Proponents argued it would open China's markets and liberalize its society. The October 25th decision. On October 25, 2000, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the bill granting China PNTR. It was a landmark victory for President Clinton's policy of constructive engagement. The mistake: the critical error was a massive miscalculation of the outcome. U.S. policymakers wildly underestimated China's economic and strategic ambition and overestimated the power of trade to democratize the one-party state. They believed China would become more like us. The consequence: the decision supercharged the deindustrialization of America, wiping out millions of U.S. manufacturing jobs. It did not liberalize China. Instead, it funded the rise of an assertive, authoritarian superpower that now challenges U.S. influence globally. It is now widely viewed as one of the most significant geopolitical blunders of the last 25 years. The lesson: economic engagement is not a magic bullet for political reform. Misjudging a competitor's intentions and capabilities can create a rival that threatens your own economic and national security. Mistake number 3. The Fort Hood shooting, a failure to connect the dots, 2019. From a global strategic error to a tragic, intimate failure of military bureaucracy that cost a soldier her life. The context: Specialist Vanessa Guillen was a 20-year-old soldier at Fort Hood. She had confided in friends and family about being sexually harassed by a fellow soldier, but feared retaliation and did not formally report it. The October 25th revelation. While Guillen was murdered in April 2020, an independent review released on October 25, 2021, exposed the catastrophic systemic failures that allowed her killer to operate and led to her death. The mistake. The Army's Criminal Investigation Command, CID, and her chain of command were found to be ineffective, unqualified, and plagued by a culture of indifference. They failed to create an environment where soldiers felt safe to report sexual harassment, and they failed to protect one of their own. The consequence: Guillen's murder and the damning report sparked a national outcry, leading to the passage of the I Am Vanessa Guillen Act, which overhauled how the military handles sexual assault and harassment cases. It revealed a profound breach of trust within the U.S. military, showing that the greatest threat to some soldiers came not from foreign enemies, but from a toxic internal culture and a failed command structure. The lesson: bureaucratic incompetence and a toxic culture can be as deadly as any enemy. Failing to protect your own people from internal threats destroys morale, trust, and ultimately, lives. Conclusion. So, what connects a questionable invasion, a flawed trade deal, and a military cover-up? They all stem from a failure to confront the truth. In Grenada, it was the truth about the real reasons for war. With China, it was the truth about the nature of an authoritarian regime. At Fort Hood, it was the truth about a toxic culture within its own ranks. October 25th serves as a stark reminder that America's greatest mistakes often happen not when it faces a powerful enemy, but when it fails to be honest with itself about its intelligence, its rivals, and its own institutions. Which of these mistakes do you think had the most lasting impact? Let's discuss in the comments. If you believe we must learn from these errors, please like and subscribe for more daily history. Thanks for watching.